Hi, it's the Abstractionist. I'm here for Moon Winter Tarot reading. So, this is for people who have significant moon placements, conjunctions, oppositions, squares, whatever, and detriment, and fall, all of that. If you go by Zodiac, it would be for Cancer, but I don't read by Zodiac on this channel, so there's that. I'm using the Tarot of Light and Shadow. This is the guidebook for that. And yeah, so it's going to be a shadow side of the deck, which is a totally different deck. And then like the regular. Do this. So we have Queen of Serpents. It's down here. Queen of Serpents, Hanged Man, Eight of Serpents, Nine of Wands, Two of Wands, Six of Serpents. Just gonna double check suits. Okay. Serpents is Earth. Alright, so kind of interesting that serpents would be Earth. I don't know, I feel like I would want water or something like that. So, very different reading than Mercury. There's a lot of decisions being made, about things you don't necessarily know about, but have major consequences for some reason. It's almost like you may not feel like you're qualified to like do whatever it is that you are supposed to do. Like a promotion just kind of like fell in your lap, so to speak. And you were chosen for the job because maybe you may have insecurities about your job performance. Like maybe you were like chosen as a last resort, and so you're kind of like trying to figure out the role because you were chosen as a last resort. Like everybody else bowed out or had issues or wasn't able to follow through with like the stuff, and so you really don't feel like you are the chosen choice, right? You're not the chosen person for the job, but you somehow managed to get it. It was a matter of like with this hangman of just waiting and not being particularly outstanding in whatever it is that you were doing to where you got chosen. And so you may be like thinking about this, you may be getting intuitive hits about why you were chosen for promotion or an upgrade or something like that. It could just be, to be honest, that you were the easiest candidate to move up on the positive side. There was less issues with moving you up, but it doesn't feel like you were the first choice. This could also go back to like in a romantic sense, because your romantic life could be feeding, your work life could be feeding off your romantic life, or the romantic cycles of never being good enough. Like there's always someone else chosen, and you're never the first choice. And like you get into the role because people settle on you, as opposed to truly wanting to see your potential with this Eight of Serpents. And so there may have been a lot of questioning of what you offer and what you bring to the table, and trying to show people that, overcompensating, be a people pleaser, um, even like sexually. There's no real sexual cards here, even, well, the wands, but like even sexually, maybe like putting yourself out there, being more risque than you normally would, like totally outside of who you are. And you may be doing that at work too. It's just not showing up as being like risque, like provocative clothing and stuff like that. It may just be like overcompensation when it comes to like tasks and work and things like that. It could be something that doesn't fulfill you. And so you have to get real about what you want, because like you may be slighted by not getting it, but then when you get it, you realize, I don't fucking want this anyway. Like, I'm bored with it. Like, why did I vie for this attention? It could be the same way with like relationships. Like, I was vying for this person's attention so much, and then when I like got it, like I didn't even really want it. Like, I got chosen and then I didn't really care. Like, I got everything, the Queen of Wands at the bottom. I got everything I wanted, but like I still like didn't care. Like, I didn't care because like it's not what I really wanted, or I wanted to win it or get it on my own, like true merits, like someone truly seeing me as qualified and not being settled on as like a last resort, right? Or the person that fits the archetype of the savior, where I'm really good at the solutions, and so people choose me for that, but they never choose me. Like, it could be something like where you feel like really pigeonholed, like at work, where people call on you. They call on you when there's solutions, but they never call you for the office meeting. They never invite you for anything outside of like work. Like, you're boxed. Like, if you were to be put in someone's phone, you would be put in as, Three of Wands at the bottom, you will be put as like the work person, right? But never, it never goes deeper than that. You never, even if you leave a job, you never really have like connections, right? And so you're not feeling connected to really anything. And it's because there may just be a little bit of wondering if people see you outside of the capacity of work. It's kind of hard because when it comes to jobs, like, you're there to actually do the job, right? Like, so, you know, like, my thing is like, we're gonna see each other more than we see our families generally, right? We're gonna spend more time with them than we normally spend with like other people, right? Like complete strangers when you go into jobs, unless you know, like, you know the people. But generally you're at a job with complete strangers, and while there are protocols in place that like kind of govern your behavior, you're still around strangers, right? And so there's a certain face that everyone shows when it's a work environment. And so there may just be a little bit of like sadness that like it doesn't extend. There seems like an eagerness to like belong, or eagerness to want to express oneself in a familiar way with people who you like work with, but it's not the right environment. It's not that it hampers your performance or like how people perceive your performance. It's just, I think people have really put you in the role of just worker. And even it could be outside of like your actual job. It could be in like just other things. Like, even in your family, you could be placed as the worker, the one that always organizes the events, the one that always puts the effort in, the one that always is reliable. And so people kind of take you for granted in a way. they kind of put the burden on you to figure everything out. Like, you may be the person who's always put in the role of planning something, right? You're always on a certain committee, you're always planning a certain thing. You do it well, but I think also people take advantage of your nature and your willingness and your desire to succeed and your desire to be liked as a result of your good work, that they take advantage of that. You may have put more effort into things and gotten rewarded, but when you really needed like help, very few people were there. You may have like given money to certain things, like to plan certain things, and it was like well appreciated because everything was a success, but there's still this bubble of not being able to penetrate the hearts, I guess, of the people around you, even as you like give so much of yourself. With the Eight of Swords and the Hanged Man, it's you're waiting for people to notice your worth, and you may be somebody who also like spends money to let people know your worth, or be generous, or cover the tab, or something like that, and people may see you as a pushover as a result. You give a lot. You give a lot because you do have a lot, but you also are chosen because you're steady and reliable. And steady and reliable is a virtue to people, but they also know that steady and reliable also can be like very compliant and not complaining, right? You're not going to complain about things. You're okay with the status quo, or so you appear to other people. I don't think there's there's not any real rage here. I think there's more just anxiety in your body, more mental space being taken up by, are you meeting the expectations of other people? Are you putting in enough effort to meet other people's desires? Are you checking their boxes to fit in? There may be certain access that you're trying to gain, and you haven't figured out how to market yourself to get there. But I think that you would be putting yourself out like a lot to do that. There may be a feeling from other people that you're not doing it genuinely, like you genuinely don't do it. And so if you really aren't, people can sense that about you, and they may keep you at a distance because they feel like you're disingenuous with how you give. Like, people may think that, like, you know how people, they try to be like very emotional and like very comforting and very relatable, but then like there's something about them that people just don't find comforting, relatable. They kind of feel like they're putting on some sort of front, and they're lying in some capacity to get what they want in a manipulative sense. Some people may think that you're being manipulative, actually, which is kind of funny because a lot of this comes from like your inability to see your own worth and ask for what you want, and to pull back and make boundaries as accordingly, you know. Like, so for me in like spaces, I feel like I come off way more mysterious than I really am. And it's because I just have certain boundaries. Like, even though I'm like a trash talker at work, and I like really like messing with people, well, at one of the locations that I work at, there's still a lot that people don't know about me, and I've always found that people are very curious about me, and I think part of it is because I'm so closed off at times. Versus you, there may just be like this overcompensation that happens that forces people to kind of like clam up or like not want to interact with you in a way, because they just feel like it's disingenuous, and it almost comes off as annoying. Like, and it's kind of sad because they'll use you, they see the genuine side of you that's willing to like work with people and like do a good job and be desire to be rewarded, but at the same time they're annoyed by like the willingness to like go out of your way to like do stuff. It's almost like giving you this position or leg up or whatever is like to satisfy you and just shut you up so that you can stay complacent. I kind of think that there's something that like you may see as you start working the job, like you may see something about it that causes you to wake up to your own desire for more. And I think they want you to stay, whatever relationship structure this is, would desire you to stay content. Because if you don't stay content, then it starts to upset a lot of things. And I think your happiness and joy up here causes less to be given to other people. And I think that if they can still emotionally get from you or pull out something from you, it could be work, it could be emotions, it could be money, then they'll keep you in that space in order to do that. But the moment I think you start fulfilling your own desires and start to have boundaries and kind of gain an air of mystery around you that you can't, like my grandma said, like you can't gauge them, and therefore you become sort of a threat, because people can't gauge you. It's not that you're entering a phase of lunacy and people are just like, she's so erratic and stuff like that. It's just that because you have an air of mystery about you, there's less certainty in how you're going to move and how you're going to react. And so people kind of in a way have to be very blunt and upfront with you about things. They kind of have to show their hand a lot more than you do, and you kind of end up gaining the upper hand, and you can decide based on how they're showing up how to move forward, and it's kind of like you're in control of it. But it doesn't have to be so strict and so stern. It's just you have an air of mystery about you, and it could be like there's something energetic about you that's very magnetizing, but people can't figure out what it is. And in their willingness to figure out what it is, they have to kind of like act correct to get what they want, but you control what they're trying to get, you know? And so you end up having power. It's not necessarily manipulative, it's just you're just being magnetic in a way with that hangman energy. And, you know, with that hangman energy, you can wait them out as long as possible because it's your energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's your energy to cultivate and to meter out as you will. And so you can be in control. So I think winter for you is taking more control of how you give out your energy and how you use your abilities, making sure you're not overcompensating, that you are doing your work diligently, that you're putting out the effort that you need to, that's kind of like consume it with experience, consume it with what you're going to receive back, and you know, anticipate it, return that you're going to have. And so that makes it better. It's almost like, you know, at jobs sometimes, like the people who are like the worst performers are the ones that don't give a shit, and the ones that end up getting like messed up and often end up leaving kind of bitter are the ones that put in a lot of effort and don't get much back, and it just ends up being, they just get run down because they end up being taken for granted. And so maybe stepping into the energy of having boundaries and people knowing that, and people then having to come correct, will put you in a better space, and you'll get to decide what these cards here, and you'll be in more control of it because you won't feel like you need to overcompensate. You won't need to give out all the stuff you don't want to, right? Even when you don't want to, you still give, and that can change. And so the word no is something that you might have to learn. So I hope that you enjoyed this moon message. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.